Just soak this one thing in liquor and the money that has been slipping away will begin to return. Financial flows that were once cut off will reconnect, and good fortune may stay long enough for your children and grandchildren to benefit from it. Hello, I am Master Zhen. In today's video, I am going to share with you a very simple ritual, but not everyone knows how to do it properly. This ritual is not about asking for money to fall from the sky. It is about reopening the path through which money once left your home. When that path is restored, money will find its way back to you, slowly but surely, steadily, and more sustainably. What makes this ritual special is that it does not require anything rare. There are no complicated offerings involved, and you do not have to change how you live in your home. All you need is a small jar, a little bit of liquor, and one item that almost every household has. Yet very few people use it correctly when it comes to attracting wealth. Through Feng Shui, when done properly, you will start to notice that money stops disappearing for no reason. Spending becomes easier, and new financial opportunities begin to appear from directions you never expected. Before I walk you through each step so that you can do this ritual yourself at home, I invite you to write a positive affirmation in the comment section. For example, I allow money to stay in my family for a long time. What you write is not for me. It is for you to affirm that your financial doorway is ready to open. If you find this content helpful, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Master Zhen, Feng Shui Secrets for Wealth, so you do not miss out on simple but long-lasting Feng Shui tips for prosperity. So how exactly should this ritual be done so that money truly finds its way back to you? Right after this, I will walk you through each step in detail. Nothing complicated, nothing confusing. So all you have to do is listen and follow along, and you can easily do it at home. To make sure this soaking ritual flows smoothly and does not get interrupted halfway through, it is very important to prepare the right materials. I'm going to explain each one clearly. They're all familiar and easy to find, so you can get them ready before you begin. Number 1. Clear liquor. The liquor used in this ritual must be clear, not cloudy, not mixed with additives, because what we need here is not the strength of the alcohol, but the purity of its scent and energy. Clear liquor spreads energy very quickly. When placed in the right spot, it has the power to awaken energy that has been sitting still, like opening a door no one has touched for a long time. That is why the liquor is not meant to be enjoyed, but to serve as a guide for the financial flow to return to the right path. You do not need to use expensive liquor, and there is no need to choose anything rare. A higher price does not mean it works better, because this ritual is not measured by material value, but by simplicity and stability. A basic, clear liquor with a clean, distinct scent and no impurities is enough. When the liquor has too many extra scents or flavors, the energy becomes scattered instead of focusing on attracting prosperity. The most important thing is this: the liquor used in this ritual must never be consumed. Once it has been placed to serve its role in channeling energy, it is no longer a drink. It becomes part of the ritual. Drinking it or using it for other purposes will disrupt the energy that is being established. Think of the liquor as a key. Once it has opened the door, its job is done. There is no need to reuse it. Many people wonder why clear liquor alone is enough, and why we do not add anything to boost its effect. The answer is simple. Liquor already carries strong movement energy. When used correctly, it helps break the hidden stagnation that quietly builds up over time, especially in areas related to money and daily life. This kind of movement is not loud or instant, but it is enough to gently and steadily shift your financial flow in a more sustainable direction. Number 2. A spoon. If possible, you should use a wooden spoon, because wood carries a natural energy that is calm and grounding. It does not disturb the energy that is forming. A wooden spoon supports the soaking process in a gentle way, which aligns with the purpose of gradually opening up the flow of prosperity rather than creating a sudden change. If you do not have a wooden spoon, a regular spoon will still work. This ritual does not rely on appearance or rare items. What matters is having the right tools for the right purpose. A familiar spoon that is used only for this ritual is perfectly acceptable, as long as it helps blend the ingredients smoothly. One thing to keep in mind is that the spoon used in this ritual should not be used for eating or drinking during the ritual period. This is to avoid mixing its spiritual purpose with everyday use. After the ritual is complete, you can wash the spoon thoroughly and return it to normal use. Just remember, during the moment of performing the ritual, that spoon has one special task, and that alone is enough for the ritual to flow properly. Number 3. A glass jar with a lid. The jar used in this ritual must be made of glass and must have a lid. Glass is a material that holds energy in a stable way and does not distort it during the soaking process. Unlike metal or plastic, glass does not absorb smells, does not hold on to old energy, and does not create chemical reactions that might interfere with the energy flow forming inside. When the liquor and the other item are placed in a glass jar, they are enclosed in a neutral space, calm enough for financial energy to gather rather than scatter. The jar must have a tight-fitting lid. This is not for decoration, but to keep the energy flow uninterrupted. The lid acts as a seal, a confirmation that the ritual has been activated and is in motion. Once the jar is closed, what has been set inside will continue to work quietly without being disturbed by outside forces. That is why a jar with no lid, or a loose lid, is not suitable for this ritual. Never use a plastic jar. Plastic is lightweight, unstable, and cannot hold energy for long. It also tends to absorb old smells and keep unwanted traces from previous use, which can muddy the purpose of the ritual. Even though plastic is convenient, it is not suitable for a ritual that requires endurance and consistency like this soaking practice. The good news is that you do not have to buy a new jar. An old glass jar can be reused as long as it is clean, free of food odors, not cracked, and the lid still fits tightly. Reusing a jar does not reduce the effectiveness of the ritual. In fact, it reflects the spirit of modesty and humility, which matches the natural way of opening the flow of wealth. Just wash the jar thoroughly with water and let it dry completely. Number 4. Cinnamon. You can use either ground cinnamon or cinnamon sticks. Both are perfectly fine. If you choose ground cinnamon, the benefit is that the scent spreads quickly and blends easily into the liquor. This is ideal for smaller spaces or homes with less air circulation. Ground cinnamon also creates a warm feeling right from the beginning, which helps the ritual take effect more quickly on an energetic level. However, you only need a moderate amount. There is no need to overdo it because the goal is to mark the scent, not to make it overpowering. If you use cinnamon sticks, you can break them into smaller pieces before placing them in the jar. Cinnamon sticks release their scent more slowly and hold it longer over time. This works well for those who want the ritual to unfold gradually but consistently. As the cinnamon infuses into the liquor, the scent is released little by little, just like reopening an old path step by step. It is not rushed, but it is solid. The most important factor when choosing cinnamon is not the form, but the condition. The cinnamon must be dry, clean, and free from mold or other odors. You should not use cinnamon that has been stored for too long and turned damp, because the scent will fade and may weaken the focus of the ritual. It does not matter if the cinnamon is new or old, as long as it still has its natural scent and is not spoiled. Keep in mind that the cinnamon used for this ritual should be kept separate from the cinnamon you use for cooking. If you use sticks, choose ones that still smell fresh, are not moist, and show no signs of mold. If you use powder, pick a dry, loose type that does not clump together. Do not use cinnamon that is wet or has a strange odor. Once all the necessary items have been fully prepared, the most important thing left is to follow the correct order of steps, so the ritual stays on track. I'm now going to guide you step by step, clearly and simply, so all you have to do is listen and follow along to complete the ritual at home. Step 1. Add the cinnamon into the jar. If you are using cinnamon sticks, break them into medium-sized pieces by hand. There is no need to use a knife or any cutting tools. The cinnamon pieces should be short enough to fit comfortably inside the jar without sticking out at the top. After breaking them, place the pieces into the jar one by one. Place them gently. Do not press them down or pack them too tightly. The cinnamon just needs to rest neatly inside the jar without needing to be arranged in any particular shape or order. If you are using ground cinnamon, scoop the powder with a spoon and pour it directly into the jar. Just add one small spoonful at a time, letting the powder fall naturally to the bottom. You do not need to spread it evenly or shake the jar to distribute the powder. Once a thin layer of powder has settled at the bottom, you can stop. After the cinnamon has been added to the jar, do a quick check to make sure the jar's mouth is clean, with no powder or pieces of toughened cinnamon stuck on the threads where the lid will screw on. If there is any, wipe it gently with a dry cloth. This helps the next steps go smoothly without needing to fix anything later. Once the cinnamon is settled inside, place the jar down and leave it still. Do not move the jar around, do not twist or shake it. Just let it stay steady as you prepare for the next step. Step 2. Pour the liquor into the jar. Once the cinnamon is neatly placed inside the jar, get your bottle of liquor ready. Open the bottle and place it close to the jar to make pouring easier and to avoid spills. The jar should still be open and sitting on a flat, stable surface. When you begin pouring the liquor, pour it slowly. There is no need to tilt the bottle too much. Let the liquor flow gently and steadily so it can gradually soak into the cinnamon. You do not need to pour quickly or turn the bottle upside down. Pouring slowly helps you control the amount and keeps the cinnamon from getting stirred up too much. The amount of liquor should be just enough to fully cover the cinnamon inside the jar. There is no need to fill the jar to the top. Once the cinnamon is submerged and there is a small space left between the liquor and the mouth of the jar, you can stop pouring. This space will make the next steps easier and prevent the liquor from spilling out. During the pouring process, if you notice the cinnamon rising or shifting slightly, that is completely normal. There is no need to press it down with a spoon or your hands. Just keep pouring slowly until the cinnamon is fully immersed in the liquor. If any liquor spills on the outside of the jar or the table, wipe it off immediately with a dry cloth. Do not leave any liquid around the rim or under the jar, as it can make things slippery during the next steps. After cleaning, check the rim again to make sure it is dry and clear for the lid. Once the liquor has been added, set the bottle aside. You will not need it for this step anymore. Keep the jar open, do not put the lid on yet, and do not move it. Do not shake the jar, do not spin it, and do not stir it with a spoon at this stage. Take a few seconds to look inside the jar and make sure the cinnamon is fully covered and nothing strange has fallen in. If everything looks fine, leave the jar as it is. Step 3. Stir and complete. Take the spoon you prepared earlier. Gently place it into the jar, being careful not to hit the sides or splash any liquor out. Insert the spoon gently so that the spoon's head is fully in the liquor but does not hit the bottom or the sides too firmly. Begin stirring in a clockwise direction. From the very first circle, keep to this one direction all the way through. Do not reverse, do not change direction, and do not pause in the middle. The spoon should move smoothly along the inside wall of the jar, forming a closed circle. One full circle counts when the spoon returns to the starting point after going all the way around. You must stir exactly 8 full circles, no more and no less. Do not stir extra just in case, and do not skip any because you feel it is enough. During this time, you do not need to check the contents, move the cinnamon, or add more liquor. If the cinnamon moves or turns slightly in the liquid, that is fine, just let it be. Do not push it down or try to rearrange it. While stirring, speak this sentence out loud or in a clear whisper, whichever lets you hear your own voice. All the money that left me now finds its way back, greater, longer, and stronger. Repeat this sentence steadily so that by the time you finish the 8th stir, you are also finishing the sentence for the last time. There is no need to rush and no need to break the sentence in the middle. If you are speaking slowly, simply match your stirring pace to your words, but always complete 8 full circles. Right after that, place the lid on the jar and screw it on until it is fully closed. You do not need to tighten it excessively, just make sure it is firm and secure. Once the lid is closed, do not open it again, do not check the contents, and do not do anything else with the jar. Step 4. Choosing a place for the jar inside your home. Once the jar has been sealed, hold it with both hands and begin choosing where to place it. The jar does not need to be placed high up or hidden away, but it should be placed somewhere stable and undisturbed in your daily routines. The first recommended location is near the main entrance, a place people walk past every day. You can place the jar on a low shelf, a shoe cabinet, or a small table near the door, as long as it does not block the walkway. Do not place the jar directly on the floor, right at the edge of the door, or in spots where it might get bumped often. The jar only needs to stay still. There is no need to display it. The second recommended location is near a window, especially one that is frequently opened or receives natural light. You can place the jar in the inner corner of the windowsill, avoiding direct harsh sunlight. Do not place the jar outdoors or in areas with strong wind. If your space is small, or if placing the jar near a door or window is not convenient, you can choose a quiet corner in a shared living space where people walk by, but do not pay much attention. The jar should not be placed in a private bedroom, nor does it need to be completely hidden. Do not place the jar in the bathroom, toilet, or any area with water. Avoid placing it near sinks, washing machines, or anywhere that tends to be damp. Do not place it near stoves, ovens, or areas with high heat. These spots may cause the jar to shift or be affected unnecessarily. When placing the jar in your chosen location, do it gently and make sure it stands firmly. Do not shake or twist it after it is placed. Once the jar is settled, there is no need to move it around to test other spots. If you need to clean the house, lift it carefully and return it to the exact same position once done. During the time the jar is in your home, do not open the lid, do not check the inside, and do not move it out of curiosity. The jar does not need your attention every day. Just let it stay where it is while you go about your normal routine. If guests come to visit, there is no need to explain, show it, or mention anything about it. The jar should remain in place continuously for the duration of the ritual. Do not take it outside, Do not bring it to someone else's home, and do not store it with unrelated items. Once you have placed the jar, consider your part in this stage of the ritual complete. Once the jar is settled in its proper place, the next important thing is not to do more, but to give the ritual time to work. The jar does not need daily attention, checking, or any further involvement. Just let it be, as part of your normal home life. The minimum time to keep the jar in place is 8 consecutive days. This is enough time for the jar to complete its role in reconnecting disrupted financial flow. During these 8 days, do not open the lid, do not move the jar, and do not change its placement. If you need to clean the house, simply lift the jar gently and place it back in the same spot. If possible, you can leave the jar for 21 days. This is a popular choice because it is long enough for the energy of money to begin stabilizing, but not so long that the energy becomes stagnant. During this time, live your life as usual. Do not focus on the jar, do not talk about the ritual, and do not wait for daily signs. After removing the jar, there is no need to repeat the ritual immediately. Only perform it again if and when you truly feel it is necessary. Doing the ritual correctly one time, completely and with enough time, is always better than repeating it too often in a rushed way. While the jar is placed in your home, there are a few small things that may seem insignificant, but actually affect the success of the ritual. Let me share with you the things you should avoid to keep everything flowing smoothly and effectively. First of all, do not open the lid during the ritual period. Even if you are curious or tempted to check, do not open it. Opening the lid halfway through brings no benefit and only interrupts the process. Once it is sealed and placed, leave it closed until it is time to remove it. Next, do not show off the jar or talk about it too much with others. This ritual does not need external attention or approval. The fewer people who know about it, the better. If someone asks, you do not need to explain in detail. Just let everything unfold quietly. Do not make multiple jars at the same time. One is enough. Creating more jars will not increase the effect and may actually cause confusion, making it hard to stay focused or consistent. This ritual works best with simplicity and unity, not quantity. Do not approach the ritual with doubt or as a test. Avoid thoughts like, let's see if this really works, or I wonder if anything will happen. You do not have to believe in it 100%, but do not create stress by constantly checking or doubting. Just let the jar be and live your life as normal. Lastly, do not attach feelings of worry to the jar. Do not see it as something that must carry the weight of your family's financial well-being. The jar is a support, not a solution on its own. When you leave it alone and do not obsess over it, things can move forward more gently and naturally. Now you can see that this ritual is not complicated. It does not involve begging or disrupting your daily life. It all comes down to doing it correctly once and then letting it work quietly in the background. When there is no rushing, no testing, and no pressure, your financial flow can begin to return, gently and at its own pace. You may not notice a big change right away, but pay attention to the small shifts. Spending feels easier, work goes more smoothly, or opportunities you thought were gone suddenly come back. These are signs that the old path is reopening and your financial flow is slowly finding a better direction. For your family, if you feel this message speaks to you, I invite you to leave a positive affirmation in the comments, such as, I am ready for money to stay in my family for a long time. What you write is not a request. It is a reminder to yourself that you deserve stability, abundance, and greater peace of mind every day. And if you found these insights helpful, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Master Zhen, Feng Shui Secrets for Wealth, so we can meet again in future stories about everyday Feng Shui. Simple things that can create long-lasting impacts for you and your family. Thank you for staying with me until the end. I wish you peace in your heart, strength in your life, and may wealth come, stay, and grow in the most natural and effortless way.